Welcome back, guys. I'm Josiah.
I'm Will.
Hi, Will. We're going to be going over the final division in the AFC, and that will be the AFC West. This one shouldn't be too difficult. No offense.
I think it could be interesting.
Could be, is the key word. So let's get it started with the Denver Broncos. Week 1, Broncos at Seattle. Who do you think will win this one?
Well, the Broncos don't have Russell Wilson this time, so that helps a little bit. I think Seattle probably starts hot. Denver's going to take a little bit of time to get into it down the line.
So Seattle win?
Probably a Seattle win off the bat.
Okay, Seattle win.
Loss for the Broncos. But then they come home and play Pittsburgh.
Yes. I think... because we had Pittsburgh winning this one.
Did we in our AFC North?
Yes. Sorry.
You're good.
All right.
Then
we have
Bay.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. Denver going to Tampa Bay.
Denver going to Tampa Bay, yes.
Loss for the Broncos? But like I said, Buccaneers are going to be the best team in that division, supposedly. Quote unquote.
That is interesting. Because they're going to have competition in the Falcons. That is for sure. Saints are going to have a solid defense.
But no offense.
Well, pretty much.
Some offense, but
no quarterback. Then there's the Panthers.
Anyways, I think
this could be a loss.
Yeah. I don't think they get their first win until week 5.
Because we had them lose to the Jets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't be surprised. Seahawks.
Broncos are going to get really slow to get going.
It's going to be a rough first 4 weeks because you don't have fun teams necessarily to play. Again, Buccaneers weren't great throughout the year. They were really inconsistent, but if they can turn it around.
They're supposedly going to be better. Supposedly, like I said.
But a win against the Raiders, I'm not expecting much from the Raiders.
No. Chargers,
I think they could split with the Chargers.
Yeah.
And I think probably a win at home is probably where they'll do it.
Yeah. So 2 Broncos wins back to back.
And then you go on the road to New Orleans. And I think
this might be a game where New Orleans wins.
Really?
Yeah.
I was leaning
those games.
Denver. Also, Sean Payton reunion.
This is a Sean Payton reunion. Ooh.
Which I think makes it interesting. I don't know how well reunion games tend to go, because I feel like they usually don't go well, but I mean, the Saints' offense is just so boring.
Yeah.
And I
can see Denver winning this one.
I just don't think Denver is going to struggle as much on offense as they have in years past, and as much as the Saints will.
Mm-hmm.
I think this could be. I think this year's going to be a wake up call for the Saints.
Yes.
That they need to change something. And then they come back home and play the Panthers. Who's coaching the Panthers?
Good question.
It starts with a C.
Dave Canales?
Dave Canales. He's known for being pretty, and that's about it.
Was previously the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers.
He's known for being pretty. That's about. I mean, he was okay, but again, inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay had a lot of inconsistencies. I don't have a lot of faith in the Panthers or Tepper. Broncos also would be coming off a mini bye, which I guess we didn't really count into the fact that the Broncos would be playing on a short week last against the Saints. But I think with a mini bye, I think they win against the Panthers, which would put them at what, 4 straight wins?
Yep.
Pretty good. And then they're going to lose to the Ravens.
Yep. Lose to the Ravens. I am a firm believer that they will beat the Chiefs once this year again. I think that's possible. It might be week 10.
It probably would be week 18 because that's when they play them, week 18. And
that's true.
That'd be my guess.
I can see a week 18 win.
I think they'll split at some point.
Chiefs will win week 10.
Yeah, probably drop it in week 10. And you go and play the Falcons.
Falcons at Denver.
Falcons could be scary this year.
I'm gonna say Falcons win right here.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be. So you're gonna go 4 losses, 4 wins, and now you're on to 3 losses when you go to Las Vegas. And I think you probably pick up a win against Vegas.
Yeah, this one might be a win. And then we had Denver beating the Broncos, or not Denver. Denver beating the Browns.
Beating the Browns.
Yeah, and then we had them beating the Colts.
So they're
8-8. Or no, not 8-8. They're 8.
7-7.
7-7.
It's 4 losses, 4 wins. 3 losses, 3 wins.
Yeah, and then
you go on the road to the Chargers, and I think you probably drop one there.
Yeah, the Chargers.
I think they probably split with the Chargers.
Bengals.
We have them lose with the Bengals, right?
Lose with the Bengals, and then.
Oh, and then a loss to the Chiefs, right? We had this one being the win.
Yeah, this one being the win. Because the Chiefs are going to rest their starters.
And that would lead out to an 8-win season, right?
Yeah. That's crazy.
What they had last year.
Yep.
But
doesn't mean they're any good.
The odds of this though would be wild if they literally.
It'll probably be all over the board if I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, but I think they could be a middle of the road potential playoff contender.
Just last year.
They were like that last year. They just got off just too slow of a start. And I think they'll be a little bit closer this year.
Okay.
I think they'll make it a little more interesting.
All right. And then we
move on to the Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Let's see here.
All right, Super Bowl champions.
They lose to the Ravens week 1. We have that already. They beat the Bengals.
Beat the Bengals week 2.
They beat the Falcons in week 3.
Yeah, I can see that.
Beat the Chargers week 4.
Yeah, I feel like Harbaugh can squeak out one.
I know he can. I just didn't know if. Yeah, they play him later this season. Probably not. They'll probably get one earlier.
Yeah, because the Chiefs usually start slower, and it's at LA.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is just I feel like the Chargers are also going to take a bit to get going, but I could see the Chiefs dropping this one.
Win week 5 against the Saints.
Yeah.
Bye week 6. Rematch.
Then they play the 49ers on the road.
You don't usually win in San Francisco.
Plus, the Chiefs did this last year with the Eagles, and they lost. Mm-hmm. So I would bet that this doesn't mean anything and that they'll lose.
Yeah. So do you think the 49ers will win?
The 49ers probably win this one. But then you go on the road to Vegas. I don't know why. I feel like Vegas is going to be the bottom of this division, but somehow sneak a win against the Chiefs.
I don't think. Yeah, they might win at home.
I feel like the Raiders are going to be a 2-4 in division play. 1 against the Raiders, 1 against the Chiefs. I almost feel like they'd sneak it out in the November game on the road. The Raiders on the road. Just because they're not good. They're not great. I think the Chiefs win a little earlier. Following the 49ers, it'd be a win for the Chiefs against the Raiders.
beat the Buccaneers.
Yeah, probably beat the Buccaneers.
Beat the Broncos. We already had that one.
Yeah, we had them beat the Broncos.
Then we had them losing to the Bills.
Fair.
They beat Carolina.
Should. They usually have some embarrassing loss or near loss at some point, like, I feel early to mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like, how can you lose to that? And then they go win the Super Bowl, and it's like...
Because not every team is going to win every game.
That's true.
We have...
This one...
This
is
was
the
the
one we had them
Raiders
drop.
winning.
I feel like it's just... it's upset-worthy.
Yes.
Just ready for an upset.
And then...
Chargers. Did we
Chargers had one earlier, so...
This would probably be a win.
Chiefs win. Week 15 against the Browns. Chiefs win that one.
Mm-hmm.
We had Texans losing to the Chiefs in Week 16.
Mm-hmm.
17, we had the Chiefs beating the Steelers. 18 is where we had the Broncos beating the Chiefs because of resting their starters.
Yeah, which makes sense because that puts them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like down the stretch. I mean, it doesn't. I don't know why, but it just seems like an easy stretch at the end for them.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Texans are going to be good, Steelers are always tough. Browns can be sneaky tough sometimes. Chargers and Broncos could be on the up and up. But for some reason, just for the Chiefs, I feel like it's just going to be an easy end of the season like last year where they just get a bunch of wins at the end of the year and clear out division. But we see, I don't think they'll be a Super Bowl team this year.
No, not this year. They'll be close.
I might quit football if they do.
I do not want a three-peat. As cool as that would be, we don't need a three-peat. Not for
Cool
me.
for who? All right, now we're on to the Chargers.
Chargers. Yep.
Mine was bad.
Chargers. Week 1, Raiders versus the Chargers. The Chargers probably win at home, so I'll give that to them. They go to the Panthers, week 2. They should beat the Panthers.
Yeah.
Week 3,
Steelers.
we had the Chargers beating the Steelers this week.
Harbaugh looking good.
Oh, and then we had the Chargers beating the Chiefs this week.
Chargers looking good.
And then they lose to the Broncos.
Chargers looking
Okay.
pretty good.
Week
Cardinals.
6. That one's kind of iffy. I will say that one.
You're going back-to-back weeks on the road. This is a Monday night game. Really? Wait,
Probably
this is a
not.
Monday night game?
Yeah. I think the Cardinals might squeak a win out of this one.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't know.
But then they go and play the Saints at home. I think they get back on track, get a win.
We had them beating the Browns on the road.
2 wins. They're starting to look good again.
And then they lose 3 straight to the Titans, the Bengals, and the Ravens. 10 through
So
12.
much for looking good.
Yeah.
Very streaky. We're getting very streaky teams.
Well, it's what happens sometimes.
It is what happens.
Falcons and Chargers week 13. This one might be interesting. I think the Falcons might have the edge, but knowing Harbaugh, he might be able to pull something out of this one.
The thing is, I feel like I know Harbaugh as a coach. I don't know Morris as a coach, which is why the Falcons are going to be such a toss-up, especially against mid to good tier teams.
Mm-hmm. I can see this as a Chargers win.
I'm just concerned because I feel like the Falcons have pretty good interior D linemen.
Yes.
It's kind of what they've been good with. They have good linebackers, but their pass game is kind of just relying on their corners. Chargers, I don't think have the receivers to really burn those corners, though,
No,
and
they
beat
do
the
not.
pass game, and they're going to have to rely on the run game, while the Falcons are going to have an offense that, like, the Chargers need to do really well on defense to keep this game close, and I don't know that they're going to be able to hold on.
Probably not.
So I'm kind of leaning towards the Falcons here, especially it being on the road. The Chargers being on the road.
Okay.
So
dropping
another one.
Dropping another one. And then we have the Chiefs beating the Chargers in week 14. So there you drop there.
Oh, God.
The Buccaneers, however, in week 15 against the Chargers. Chargers might be able to beat them. Might.
Yeah, I'm kind of like in the middle on this one because
we had a toss-up with the Chargers and Patriots in week 17, just FYI.
Chargers, Patriots, week 17?
Mm-hmm. That was a toss-up.
I mean, I could see this also being a toss-up. The Buccaneers, I think they're going to kind of be in that mid-tier teams that are competing for a 7 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Just depending on how these games swing. And this is one that, like, obviously they need to win if they want to get in. But I can't confidently say that this is going to be a win for them.
Fair.
But I don't really feel confident in saying that it's a Buccaneers win either, with how inconsistent they've been, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards just a toss-up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put that as a toss-up. Broncos, we had
losing to the Chargers. And then we had the toss-up between the Patriots and Chargers week 17. Mm-hmm. And then week 18, we have
them playing the Raiders. And like I mentioned, I think the Raiders do go 2-4 in division play. Getting swept by the Broncos, beating the Chiefs once, means this might be their other loss.
Probably.
Which is
they're not going to be perfect their first year.
No, and it's going to... I'm curious to tally this up because that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is what they
with 2 toss-ups. So
with the 2 toss-ups.
I mean 8 and 9.
Well, because it being toss-ups means that you have 2 games that could either be wins or losses. It evens out to 1 win, 1 loss, basically.
Yes.
But that could lead you to 9 and 8. That could lead you to 7 and 10. And again, there's wiggle room. They could move up because we don't know how Al Harbaugh's going to do with the offense that they have and the defense, the aging defense.
Yes.
But I think that competing for being in contention for a playoff spot like the Broncos is a pretty good spot for compared to where they were last year, where they were lucky to have 5 wins.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think that's fair. I think that's pretty fair.
Pretty fair.
And now on to who I think could end up with probably end up with a top.
Oh my goodness! Almost
5.
All of their teams are already decided. So Raiders lose to the Chargers week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Lose to the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Week 3 is Panthers and Raiders.
I think they lose.
Do you think they lose? Because the Panthers have to win somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was getting to. Is I think Raiders might be a top 3 picking team,
mm-hmm.
and that's nothing against Pierce. I just don't think they have a solid defense.
They're not going to be very.
They're not ready to compete.
No.
For playoffs this year.
And then they lose to the Browns. They lose to the Broncos. They lose to the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Week 7 is the Rams. Probably lost there.
Yeah.
And they lose to the Chiefs. They lose to the Bengals. Week 10's a bye. So they are 1-1. No, how many wins do they have?
0.
0. Oh, shoot. Never mind. I was looking at it. It's weird. So 0 and 9. Right
They're 0-9.
And then they lose to the Dolphins. They lose to the Broncos. And they finally beat the Chiefs to get their first win.
At 0-10, they're just going to be like, we're going to go into Kansas City and
beat them. That's something that they would do. And then Raiders versus Buccaneers week 14.
I'm going to give it to the Buccaneers.
And then Falcons versus the Raiders. Falcons.
Yeah.
And then
Jaguars.
Jacksonville beats the Raiders.
I could see them beating the Saints here.
Yeah, I can see that.
And ending off with, 2 wins?
Well, they have the Chargers and
They beat the Chargers at the end, right?
Yeah, so it'd be 3-14.
Yeah. Which is about what I would expect, because that puts them, bottom of the AFC?
Yep. Because Titans have 4.
Is what I expect, because honestly, like, and maybe it's just a little bit of the whole, they didn't go for a quarterback. They're not planning to win right now.
Yeah.
They're kind of building for the future. But, like,
I mean, they could have.
You let Josh Jacobs go.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Zamir White is bad, but
he's not on the level.
Is not the same. You have Devontae Adams, who's aging.
And he is not very happy with his situation.
Yeah, he's not. And he's great receiver. But I think he's either retiring or leaving after this year. Like, I don't think you're planning on building around him.
No.
Your O-line's getting better, which is kind of what you
Good.
want to do when you're in a rebuilding stage and you're going to bring in a quarterback at some point.
I mean, Minshew is definitely the placeholder for this team right now.
He's a bridge quarterback. Either that or Aiden O'Connell, either way. But, like, what other receivers do they have? Didn't Myers leave, or is he still there?
Myers. Careful.
Careful, SpongeBob. Let me look this up
I
real
thought
quick.
he stayed. No, he.
I thought he was on a 1 year, but I could be wrong.
He might be on a 1 year.
He's still.
Still there?
Yeah, he's still there. So you have Jacoby Myers, but you have Adams and Myers. Your offense is going to be You do have Brock Bowers, but you have two decent. You have Brock Bowers, who's supposed to be good. Michael Mayer, was solid. You're kind of just seeing what you have there, hoping the O-line gets better. And, I mean, you have a good defense, but Max Crosby is supposed to be there for more than just 1 year.
Supposedly.
You want him there. He's hopefully around for a couple more years. You just got to go to him and be like, hey, listen, just give us 1 year. We'll bounce back next year. This is not our year. Because they're kind of just middle of the pack, and if they take this year to kind of just suck, like the Saints need to do.
They'll get somewhere.
If they need to do what the Saints need to do and just suck 1 year, and you can reset the team next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if that's what they go for, and I'm not saying throw games, I'm not saying tank, none of the like that. I just think that their team is not meant to win.
Yes.
And I think they know that.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to try and win, but they're not a great team this year, I don't think.
No.
Pierce might be. I think Pierce could be a good coach. I think he's someone who, even if they only win 3 games, I think he keeps his job.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, hey, that was not a good assessment of you as a coach.
Mm-hmm. But I will say this. Looking at the whole AFC, how we have that already kind of filled out, Chargers only have 2 games that are on here that could be going, like you said earlier, a 9-8 or 7-10 season. That could really shake up rankings, because currently on this they're 11th place right now, but if they go 9-8, originally they were the 7th seed, so they have a very wide range.
Okay, so
like that's what I'm saying. Like it could literally go any way with the Chargers.
This will be a little extra segment for this video, which is because now we've done the entire AFC. We can kind of break out based off of our projections who will make the playoffs. Which would be
I have it all ranked here.
Ravens
are 1. 2 is Dolphins. 3 is Chiefs. 4 right now is Jacksonville. 5 is Bengals. 6 is Texans, and 7 is the Bills. Obviously, there's a few of those games that are kind of toss-ups right now, so we are not entirely sure what they're going to do with those. Like I said, if the Chargers were 9-8, this would be completely different. I think they would be the 7th seed.
Well, because what that does do is Bills at the 7 with our projected 9 wins, and we also have them with 3 toss-ups, 4 toss-ups. What that does is
4 toss-ups?
Jets are the 7. Yeah, I think we had 4. The Jets should be the 7th seed though, shouldn't they? At 9.5 wins.
No, because there's how many 9? There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's 3, 9, and 8 teams. I don't have them on a tie basis right now.
So
We gave them wins.
yeah, that was the thing is I did the toss ups, which obviously the toss ups count as half games. So based off of how I had it, it would have the Jets as the 7 because they had one toss up that got them the 9.5.
Yeah, but if I gave the right wins to the right teams, that's how it would shake up. It was what I said.
Yeah, well, it depends on how the toss ups go, based off of the win projections I have calculated with toss ups. That technically would give Jets a half game advantage, but again, with the range that's there, it could be the Jets, it could be the Bills, it could be the Steelers.
It could be 4 teams
Broncos,
or 5
Chargers.
teams. Yeah, it could be 5 different teams.
I think, which is kind of similar to what it was last year. We had a really close race
Final stretch right at the end.
that like you knew 1 through 6, but we had no idea who that 7 was going to be.
Yeah,
That was so much
wild
fun.
card. Woo!
Didn't matter really because
No, I mean it kind of mattered for the Packers
yeah, I was saying on the AFC side.
on the AFC side.
Because that was the Steelers? They were the 7 seed? Yeah, because they played the Bills. Or was it the Chiefs?
It was the Bills.
That played the Dolphins. No, Dolphins were 6. Why can't I remember? I don't know. Either way, they were kind of close. I'm pretty sure the Steelers were the 7.
Steelers were the 7th. Dolphins were the 6th seed.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, these numbers are, 1, arbitrary, 2,
Oh well.
flexible because we got some toss-ups in there, which could literally mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you have a couple teams. Oh, I think you have a couple teams in the AFC that are not great, and I think that's like Raiders and Titans are gonna look real iffy. I think the Browns are gonna be a little bit down. Colts might not look great again, but again,
We don't know.
I can't read the future, so
We're not fortune tellers. We're just going off the basis of what we know and what could happen. Which
yes.
could literally be anything.
So this is just a little fun for us while we creep closer to the start of the regular season.
Yeah, it's around the corner.
We're almost there.
Anyways,
But
yeah, so that's our AFC divisions. This one specifically, the AFC West. So thank you all for joining us. We'll be moving on to the NFC divisions, and we'll start going through those very soon. So we'll see you all there. So see ya.
bye.